In the few years since Kevin Rudd declared global warming to be the greatest moral challenge of our time, debate still rages throughout Parliament at all of Australia as to whether the country should adopt a price on carbon emissions. But while the opinions of Julia Gillard, Tony Abbott and Bob Brown are of the most significant importance to the process, followed by that of the voters, an overlooked division of society in terms of opinion is of course the youth. We spoke to the students of Shenton College, and their opinions are able to provide a unique insight into the generation of citizens who will or won't be affected by global warming.
Very little. I'm way down south where I don't get affected by carbon anyway, because it doesn't quite reach Mandurah, so it doesn't really bother me, and we can't afford taxes anyway. What's Phil?
Well, it's actually stupid because they keep on going on about how they're taxing carbon and stuff, right? But you see, all they're doing is discouraging your use of carbon. It's not actually going towards the environment like they keep on saying. It's going towards, like, businesses that do stuff.
Well, I think the carbon tax should actually be removed. It's not in any way useful to our society at the moment, and we obviously are not going to need it.
You're a dick, Jeremy! Right, so what happens is the Gillard government is going to charge the businesses for the carbon that they pollute into the atmosphere. And what's going to happen is, like we've seen before with oil and everything else, is that they're going to pass that money down onto the consumers, and then the consumers are going to have to pay more, but then someone will say, oh no, that's what's going to happen is the government is going to compensate the people with low incomes on this carbon tax. What's going to happen is, if you think about it,
Tony Abbott says no to it, I say yes to it. Good day, sir.
Well, I think it could do some great good for the environment, and it's not too expensive. It's what we need. We need some positive action in the government's environmental policy, and I think this is a step in the right direction.
And the government compensates the low-income families with X dollars, and X dollars goes over to business, which goes to government, which goes to House, which goes to...
So I think it's a good idea because we need to move forward with our country and our goals for the future. And I think it's a positive thing because it will help us, it will help everyone else. I think it's our contribution as a country to the world and matters in the world. And I think we have to look at the global scale, not just the local scale. The local industry, it's more of a global thing. That's the most important thing. So I do support carbon tax.
They're just going to pay the money and keep polluting like they were, regardless. So that's my opinion.
I personally believe that sometimes we must sacrifice economic growth to do for greater good for the environment and socially. I believe that anyone with a social conscience will believe that the carbon tax is worth it. There's no issues with decreasing carbon emissions, and the simple fact is we must sacrifice economic growth for the greater good.
Oh, bloody
society.
hell, bloody sacrifice this, sacrifice that. What you've got, we've just come out of one of the world's greatest economic recessions, and what's going to happen is that this carbon tax is going to just force families to pay up so much more, and then it's just going to end up the same way, and they're just going to keep borrowing money from banks, and then it's
not
stupid.
families that are going to be affected, it's the large companies.
What? The companies?
Families will be... Wait, I didn't interrupt you, so can you just please wait?
No, I'm going to interrupt you.
Families are going to be...
To be honest, I don't really understand it a lot, but it seems to have taken a really big hold on the media. It seems to be in a lot of newspaper articles and on the news, and I know my parents aren't too impressed with it, but to be honest, it just seems like Julia Gillard's a lot more trouble than she's worth.
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I'd say it's got good intentions, but it's been badly planned out and executed.
Which will end up like the gold tax in the late 90s, which was meant to completely
Yeah,
destroy
did-
Australia's gold industry, but in fact had a very small
Yeah,
effect.
yeah, that's not to do with it. Gold is nothing to do with carbon. Gold is down here.
No, but you're
carbon
just
is
saying it's
apparently
effective,
up there.
The carbon tax, not really fussed about it, to be completely honest with you. But if it gets passed, it gets passed. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Not really caring, to be completely honest with you guys.
I think the carbon tax is a good idea. Something needs to be done, but whether or not it's actually going to have the effect that they're trying to get, that's another thing.
If I pay this amount of money, then the carbon will magically disappear. End of story.
No,
We're all
but it would
saved.
discourage the life
I've got
polluters
nothing
from
more to say.
polluting more.
No,
and I
I've
think
got
you are
nothing more to
fearing
say.
that
No,
you are
I've
going to lose
got
this argument.
Climate change and the carbon tax, despite all the research and the debate that has occurred over the years, is still a very divisive and polarizing issue, especially amongst the youth of society. Only time will tell whether the tax will help pollution, whether climate change is real, or whether we truly are on the path to destroying our only home.